Pledge allegiance to the
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's have praying standing. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the privilege of serving. Lord, give us the wisdom and understanding to do the best we can for the job we've been voted in for. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay. Let's approve the minutes of the last meeting. Have a motion to accept it.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. You want? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, we have to approve these.
Okay.
While we're approving the minutes here, Zach, you have something for us?
Yes, sir. All right. We're here to sort of honor one of our deputies. On October 24th, around 9 a.m., we were called to an accident with a lot of injuries. Deputy Sparks just happened to be patrolling in that area, out in Alpina. As soon as he arrived, noticed that one of the cars was on fire, ran up to the vehicles without even worrying about his own safety, made sure everybody was okay, noticed that they weren't, so he was able to drag one of the elderly gentlemen out of the back of the vehicle, because right next to him, the car that was involved also was on fire. He dragged one gentleman out of the vehicle, made sure that the little girl that was also in the vehicle was okay, and then went back up to the car. At this time, the car was fully engulfed, and it was about 5 feet away from him. Deputy Sparks was able to somehow open the door of the vehicle. It was sort of jammed shut. He opened the door. The lady that was stuck inside of it, she was in pretty bad shape. He was able to get her out of the vehicle and somehow drag her to safety. Watching the body cam footage, it's sort of graphic, so I don't want to put the family through that because unfortunately she did pass away later that day. But watching the body cam footage is pretty amazing. Not only did Deputy Sparks put his life in danger by doing this, we all wear flashlights on our shoulders when we're working, and it was so hot that his flashlight melted. You may have seen the pictures of it, but it's just completely melted to the attachment that it's on. So not only did he pull her from the vehicle, pull her to safety, but for about 20 minutes while he waited on EMS and the flight medics to get there, he held her hand, comforted her. I mean, it was pretty amazing to see what he did. The entire time she kept asking about her husband and her granddaughter, and he just kept telling her, they're fine, let's worry about you. You're going to be okay. And if it was my mom, my grandma, I want Josh to be the guy that's there because, again, it was amazing what he did. Again, unfortunately, she passed away. The gentleman also finally succumbed to his injuries from the crash, and he passed away. But Josh gave them extra time to make peace with their family. If he wouldn't have been there, the heat from the vehicles probably would have taken them out. So what Josh did was pretty heroic. And I was approached by council. They wanted to give Josh an award, so I was more than happy to do it because anytime somebody from our department does something heroic like this, it should be recognized. Yeah, it's our job to do stuff like this, but running into a burning building for a fireman, running up to a car like that, it's just amazing what Josh did, and he sort of personifies what a deputy should be. And you can see by the crowd here, the SWAT team, Josh was a member of the SWAT team right here, just to honor what he did. So, Josh, I give you this life-saving award that was the county council wanted to give you this. So here you go. And also, anytime somebody does something amazing at our department, they get a letter of commendation. So I just thought I'd give it to him here, just because we got a little bit of a crowd. Usually it's in my office and nobody sees it. But a letter of commendation that will go into his file, and it'll be there until he retires. So thank you, Josh.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Josh, okay if you came out, we should always be able to shake your hand.
What's that, sir?
If you come around the front so we can all shake your hand.
Absolutely.
Josh.
Thank you for your service, Sam.
Thank you very much.
Do we have
If I
any?
could say one thing real quick, I definitely appreciate the support that has been from the community, been from my fellow officers and everything. One thing that has been instilled in my brain since I've started from the people that's trained me was always be the officer that you want to show up at the incident. And that's what I'm trying to be, but I definitely appreciate everyone's support. Thank you.
Having worked with a lot of these guys on the scenes, there's not a one of them that wouldn't do the same thing. I know Josh, you did an amazing thing. But I worked with a lot of the Fayette County Sheriff's Department and the city police on various calls, and they're all willing to give that same level of sacrifice and service to everybody that they come in contact with. So I commend all of you for what you do.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have any mail tonight to be considered? Okay. Jeff, you have anything for us?
I do not.
Okay. Any committee reports tonight? Any meetings this month? Dale, are you here?
Who's in all-
Dale?
Dale.
Dale, you're up.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Well, first off, on behalf of the commissioners and myself, I'd also like to commend Deputy Sparks for his heroism. We all appreciate that. Okay, commissioners meeting today went okay. We took care of some very routine items. We approved quarterly claims for public transit, the amount of $88,560. Heard various department head reports. We also got a chance to meet Paula Copenhaver from the Attorney General's office, who is here, and you get to meet her here in a couple of minutes. The highlight of today's meeting, though, I would say, was the information that we collected from Thomas Barclay and of Commonwealth Engineers and representatives of the Glenwood community, who are in the process of working on a grant to send Connersville City Water out to Glenwood. And long story short is we favorably recommended them come and talk to you about finding a way for them to secure a loan so a little over $1.3 million. This is much too involved for me to tell the whole story here tonight, but you can be forewarned that a meeting between you, us, and various other interests will probably need to be in the same room at the same time to hear everything there is to know about this proposed project. Other than that, I would mention that my painting crew started work yesterday on the probation building across the street, and we're painting all the trim, all the shabby looking trim on the old 1880 jail. So take a look at that when you get a chance. It's going to really improve the looks of one of our buildings. So hopefully they might even get that done this week.
Dale, doesn't Glenwood have their own water system right now?
They do. They don't have enough water, and their system is old. It's in need of rebuilding and updating. The total cost of that project is over $13 million. But this is the hurdle that they're trying to get over is the engineering and planning for it. And Glenwood is also represented by our attorney, Jeff Wesling, and Jeff knows much more about this than I do. You know, I got my brief today, and he's been totally involved in it. It stands to benefit not just Glenwood, but Fayette County and Rush County.
I was going to say most of Glenwood's in Rush County.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to this story, Bob. We all haven't heard yet. So, if we can get water to Glenwood, we can certainly then get water to Orange. And
Well, I like for getting done grazing. That's only 2 miles north of here.
yeah. Well, it is possible that something like this could eventually become the start of a county-wide municipal water system, which is something I've always supported. Because we have the water, we just don't have a delivery system. So,
Water's something, the rates went up when Visteon left. The more people that's on it, the lower the water gets.
exactly. You're exactly right about that. So, anyhow, I wrote, Jeff, do you have any idea of when, if we may be able to have a meeting about this before the end of the year, or?
Yeah, I'd say that makes sense.
Yeah,
I think it was probably going to be their intentions to come at the next council meeting.
okay. So, that's quite a presentation. And this is something that's very real. And they have, I think, very high hopes of being successful at it.
I would say this. I would say there's nothing about this that makes sense that if the Connersville City Utilities or if Fayette County or if Glenwood is paying $13 million for this project, this will not happen. There is no financial practicality. It just doesn't make sense. It's not reasonable. It is everybody's assumption that SRF is going to essentially forgive the loans on a very, very large chunk. And when I say large chunk, I'm thinking in the 90th percentile. Okay, so then all of a sudden it doesn't make sense. It does make sense for everybody. Okay, but it only makes sense. It's a $13 million project. It doesn't make sense if it's $13 million. But
Is that a grant yet?
So SRF does it a couple ways. There's grants. There's also loan forgiveness. Essentially, you pay the loan on 2 years and then they forgive the loan. There's different options. But the way SRF operates is they don't, at the offset, like right now, they don't let us know how much they're going to. They've said they'll fund the entire project. They just don't let us know how much is going to be the grant, how much is going to be essentially not paid back, however you want to label it. And I would agree. I have I don't know if you guys watched the commissioners meeting. I wasn't asking easy questions because I have concerns about the financial component of it. I think it's a phenomenal opportunity for everybody, and a lot of good things can happen from it. But it needs to not be paid for by Fayette County, Glenwood, or city utilities.
No.
It just doesn't. And the Rushville involvement would be, it's not like Rushville would be getting any type of, they would be paying for the pipes to be bigger, essentially. So they would be paying for anything that would benefit them potentially. And that, to me, benefits this community in the fact that we get to sell water to Rushville. Okay? And we only do that if it makes financial sense for us to do so. But we happen to be in an area right now where we have phenomenal water and we have a lot of it. And so I think countywide water is pretty realistic. I've always contended in these small rural areas that 100 years ago got water, it made sense because the regulations weren't that tough, right? And you just had water and people were drinking it, it wasn't regulated and it wasn't tough. The more they have these federal regulations on this, the more you have to no longer can you have a guy and pay him $8,000 and he runs your water system, right? And now you're having to have more sophisticated systems, and it just doesn't make as much sense as it did 100 years ago. So I really do believe regional water is coming. I think it's the next 50 years. I think you're not going to see towns like Glenwood having water. You're just not their own water. It's just not going to happen. I think we're kind of at the very beginning, cutting edge, where they're going to really try to throw money at this thing. You know, the federal government, the state, the SRF throw money at this thing, and maybe we pay 5 cents on the dollar, you know, and maybe we get this, which does open it up for other growth.
Would the county recoup any of the revenue from it?
I think the biggest benefit to us sitting right here would likely be that some of our constituents, some of our consumers could get hit up along the way, and then the ability to kind of spider off of that if the pipe's big enough to kind of go in different areas of the eastern part of the western part of the county.
Well, you have minerals, springs out there, the
Sure.
subdivisions and places
Sure.
along the way.
And I think you hit up those, so I think that's the benefit. I don't know that.
But will the revenues go to the utilities, or could some of them come back to the county?
All that's open for negotiation. All that's open for negotiation. It just depends on who's got the skin in the game. It's kind of like it's getting Rushville involved. Well, if Rushville wants to get involved, fine, but we're putting a 6-inch pipe in that's going to cost us $8 million, $9 million. Well, if you want us to be able to supply Rushville, then it's going to have to be a 10-inch pipe. That's going to be another $4 million. You're going to pay for that. But then that allows us to hit up businesses on the way or other communities. You see what I'm saying? So it's all open for negotiation. And I think the more we get involved, the more likely we're going to get grants. The more communities that are impacted, the more it's going to be like, hey, this is exactly what we're kind of envisioning right now. And it could all fall apart. I mean, it really could. It's not. I'm very uncomfortable about Glenwood can't afford to spend $100,000 and not something hit. They don't have enough. They don't have enough consumers. I mean, they only have got 100 people on water. So
If Rushville approved solar, they'd have the money to do it with.
okay. But that's where I stand. I think that
Millions
this
of
has
dollars
to
in
be.
solar, boys.
This is never going to be. Hey, we're all teaming up. We're all going to figure out a way to come up with $13 million. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Now we're paying it. I mean, depending on how you want to look at it, your tax money's paying it somehow. But yeah,
It's just not coming out of our budget.
correct.
Okay.
This has potential to be a very, very complicated discussion. But I'm glad you brought up that, there is always a possibility the whole thing could fall apart. So, I can think of 1,000 different things that could go wrong. But we haven't got there yet. So, just a heads up that we're going to be coming to discuss this with you, and then hopefully get as many questions answered as possible. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dale.
I know you've got a full agenda tonight, so I'll step out.
Thank you, Dale. Okay. Next up, Kelly.
Dale, will you say something to Kelly out there? Good. Okay. I'll pass this out.
Bob,
Yes.
after Kelly, would it be okay to get Paula ahead, because she's got
It's fine, I'm staying, I'm ready, so
to,
I'm gonna stay locally.
okay, she had a 2-hour drive, so.
It's
I'm very sorry to cut line. I'm on vacation, I got someplace to be here in a few minutes. So in front of you is my quote from the radio company vendor. So what I need to do is, I'm asking for money from my budget to purchase a new trunking system, another trunking system with a rack downstairs. So what this means is, when we did the new radio system, this probably should have been part of it. However, at the time, we were going over who was paying for the radio system, where we getting the money. So at the time, we really, and another thing, we really didn't know a far scope of what we would actually ultimately need further after we got the initial system put in. So here it has been a year, and what we've discovered is, with everybody getting the new 800 radios, the volunteer fire departments, and such, we now need another piece that is described in this quote. It's called a trunking system, an additional one. And what that will do, so my radio system will accommodate 24 solid channels. And at the time of the build, we only did accommodations for 12 channels of that. So what this will accomplish is to let us open up the next set of channels. And what that will do is it will give each department, EMS, all the fires, of course the sheriff's department and the police department always had theirs. So this will lock them in to our main screen, so that when we tone, we'll simulcast tone on VHF and 800 at the same time. Now it can be done right now. However, the dispatcher has to go into another screen and try to bring whoever at the time that they're going to tone back over to this other screen, which is ridiculous because we can't even monitor that station because we've got to go back and get it. So the 18,000 is just to lock in, or unlock the other 12 stations and let us use those too, because it's a 24 station radio system, but at the time we only needed 12 to use, and then now we've further advanced to everybody getting 800s, so we all need to lock in a station for each department for the 800s. So now we're going to do the 18,000 to unlock those other 12.
This is coming from your funding?
Yes.
Okay, that'd be the 144 down, 911 down, or 144.
And then the second sheet, this, I went over my initial install. This was part, I thought, of the quote that he had given me for the 112,000 that was spent. That it was not included, so the 69 additional that I have on here stapled is for 2 brand new dual band radios that dispatch uses. I already have those in my possession. That bill is what it costs to buy the 2 of them and for them to program the 2 of them for our department. So I have one in my office, and I've already got them Fayette County property. I've already got them put in my property, my inventory, and then one sits at my house as a director. So whoever would be in that spot, I believe that the director should always have a radio on them.
This is the only vendor you've contacted? Is there not more
No,
vendors?
this is the vendor we use. Dale, can you help me on that? Because, we don't really go around and
It's a different animal when you're dealing
Once
with
we do
emergency radios.
ECS, we'll-
Something like
I just want to know if
Yeah,
they're the
okay,
only ones that
thank
do
you.
that.
So, hey, Tim, on the ECS, okay, no, I did not go out and seek. This system that we put in, this is the company that put it in, it's a Kenwood system, so we stick with this vendor.
So you're seeking $25,000?
That's the combination of the,
Transfer over to-
on the 2 of the sheets, yeah.
Okay, do I have a motion to
I'll make a motion to approve.
have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, Kelly.
Thank you guys very much, I'm sorry for cutting in line.
That's no problem.
Have a good evening.
Paula, you want to talk to us?
Sure.
Thank you, Bob.
I got some goodie bags.
She has no one to get to, is that the new feedback for us?
Thank you.
You know, so many people come and ask for money. I'm not asking for money today, so.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
Be sure you guys put down your tax return.
Did you give this to school teachers too?
Huh?
Watch Greeks, you're not Greek,
School
are you?
teachers must have got this.
Bearing gifts.
No.
Thank you.
One from Jamie.
Whoever gets attorney's gifts.
I did. I thought about
Attorneys
it.
are allowed to receive gifts, aren't they?
We're always allowed to receive gifts. That's part of it.
Okay, so again, my name is Paula Copenhaver, and I'm with Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita's office. I am an outreach representative, and I'm actually here on behalf of my supervisor. Her name is Abby Clark, and she is the outreach representative that actually covers Fayette County. So I'm here subbing in for her since she wasn't able to attend tonight. Thank you for letting us come and speak to you on behalf of the Attorney General's office. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Attorney General, about the whole office. Under Attorney General Rokita's leadership, the ultimate mission of the office is to protect the rights, liberties, and safety of all Hoosiers. We function as the official law firm for the government of the state of Indiana, and we work to protect Hoosiers through our Consumer Protection Division, unclaimed property, the Medicaid fraud unit, and much more. With nearly 20,000 active cases at any given time, our office defends laws passed by the legislature and challenges federal overreach harmful to Hoosiers. We protect consumers from illicit business practices, cybersecurity threats, data privacy violations, and ID theft. We have obtained nearly $1 billion in settlements for Hoosiers, including hundreds of thousands from annoying and illegal robocallers. The office returns over $1 million in unclaimed property to Hoosiers every week. So we return over $1 million to Hoosiers every week, achieving a record so far of $76.8 million returned this fiscal year of 2023. Since taking office, we have recovered $85.5 million from entities allegedly engaged in Medicaid fraud. We also handled more than 1,000 criminal and civil appeals each year, successfully upholding the convictions of child abusers, murderers, and rapists. Attorney General Rokita oversees a staff of over 400 people with one common purpose: serving Hoosiers with servants' hearts. Todd Rokita was elected in 2020 as Indiana's Attorney General, having earned the highest number of votes of any state official holder in Indiana history. Attorney General Rokita has been a champion for Hoosiers while serving in the private sector as a U.S. Congressman, as Indiana's Secretary of State, and now as the state's Chief Legal Officer. In his current position, he continues to uphold the rule of law and protect Hoosiers from government overreach. He is a strong supporter of life and is an active fighter for our constitutional rights. Todd Rokita is known for his willingness to take a stand, never back down, and speak up for those who often feel like their voices are not represented in the news, in our schools, or in the corporate world. Our office follows this agenda, and we are always here when Hoosiers are in need. That mission is what brings me here today to talk about the rest of the office. One of the divisions that we have, which I mentioned, was consumer protection. One of the things that we do through consumer protection, like I mentioned about the robocallers, how many of you have ever received a call? I'm calling about your car warranty. You know, that
Medicare.
is, yeah. There's a
Put a
lot.
stop to that, 15, 20 a day.
Yeah, well, and unfortunately, if you check a box to receive phone calls, then you always want to make sure you're opting out. Otherwise, you will get some phone calls. And also the do not call list. Make sure you're
But
signed
they're
up on
using
that.
other people's phone numbers to call you.
They do, which leads me to the next point, that if you are receiving these calls, you should file a complaint with the Consumer Protection Division. Because if we don't know about it, then we can't pursue it and put a stop to those robocallers. And so that is just one of the things in the consumer protection. There's many other divisions many other things that the consumer protection does. It's just like if there's a product recall, we also have a newsletter that goes out monthly if products are recalled. that if you purchase something, you have no idea if it's been recalled, but we will send out an email to you and notify you of different products that have been recalled. And so, if you would like for me to take your email address, which I had to leave the commissioners meeting early, so I didn't get anybody's email addresses, if anybody wanted to sign up to make sure that you are receiving that information from the office, I would be glad to get your email address and put you on the list so you are notified. The other thing about the office that I'm going to talk to you about today is unclaimed property. Unclaimed property is basically unclaimed money. A lot of times that fund is held with the state, turned over to the state for insurance claims. Maybe you had a refund or for an insurance claim that wasn't mailed to you, you didn't get stale dated checks that didn't get cashed. If a holder has that money, they hold it for so long, and then if they can't return it to you because you've moved, or even a payroll check, if you had a job and you didn't leave your forwarding address and your last paycheck, it bounces back, that holder holds it for a certain period of years. And if they can't find you, then by law, they have to turn it over to the state of Indiana, and Indiana holds that money for 25 years. If you don't claim that money within 25 years, it rolls over to the general fund, and then our legislators decide how to spend our money that was rightfully ours. So that's how we have been able to return over $1 million a week for the last year to Hoosiers who have found unclaimed money. So I always tell people, go to indianaunclaimed.gov, and there's a push card in your little goodie bag that I gave you. Scan that QR code and it'll take you to the secure website. And I always say, check for yourself, check for friends, check for your family, check for whoever, and let them know that that money's out there. And if your friends find the money, I always tell you, hey, let them know there's a finder's fee and then you take you out to dinner if they get that money back, right? So any questions you have for me about the office? Also, I am a former county clerk, and so thank you for serving the public as county council. I appreciate your service to your county. So thank you for having me.
I appreciate you coming and telling everything.
Yes, thank you. And if there's anything we can do for you guys too, please feel free to reach out to me. I also put my business card in each of your bags, and I will get you connected with Abby since this is her territory, but we're here to serve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, emergency management. Not here?
Nope.
Pass it down. Do you vote on anything yet? Not here for you. 55.
I mean, I'd still vote on it.
Okay, he's asking another $455 for gas, diesel, and oil. Is that part of his budget, or is he asking for additional funding?
It's additional.
Additional $455. This will be coming out of our general fund. Any comments?
No, the gas has always been led in emergency management. I've always said Adrian was the most economical driver that we have in the entire county, because I think you'd always ask for those $600 each year. The entire year, pretty budgeted for last year to change. You know?
I'm sorry.
Do you know what he budgeted for last year?
It's probably that $600.
It wasn't much, so he definitely needs it. You can't get $600 a year in a truck.
He's here quite often wanting additional funding. It's just,
Well, you gotta look at
He's
Adrian.
doing a lot
Adrian is the
more.
one that created his budget for him
Yeah.
originally. And it's an office we've never really had actively engaged as he is
Yeah.
doing things. And it's gonna take time for him to get it built up where it needs to be, where it should be. I think he's making incredible steps with the communication trailer and other things that he's doing to the grants, which is what I was hoping for when he took the position to look for the grants.
It was originally budgeted at $800. He's done an additional appropriation for $1,600, so he's spent $2,400 so far.
and then it was $455 more.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
What's the motion?
To approve.
To approve, okay. I'll have a motion to approve the $455. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Sheriff needs $18,000. Zach?
Yeah, the truck that got totaled out several months ago, we got a insurance settlement for it, and then we went and bought a Durango at Reedman's. We got a pretty good deal on it, and we got permission from the commissioners to do that. So I just need that money. The money was put into the general fund. We just need that transferred back to our vehicle budget to take care of that.
It's a transfer back? Okay. Okay.
I'll make the motion, Bob.
A second.
Let's have a
I'm sorry, was
motion.
that
10? Tim's
Tim.
in motion, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. No.
Okay. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. You got it, Zach. Thank you.
I seconded that, was like, okay. Thank you.
Soil and water.
I got two of them.
Yeah. I'm Troy Tipton, and this is Tara Henry. I talked to you briefly at the budget hearing about an opportunity about additional funding on the match for clean water. When I asked for 11, I actually need 7,700. I'm gonna let Tara explain to you what go over like we did in the meeting.
Yeah, for those that were in the budget hearing, we came in and said because of Clean Water Indiana will match up to $20,000 for every dollar that a county puts into the soil and water conservation districts. We needed to bring that up to additional $7,700 for this year, the 2023 budget. So therefore, when the state looks at that, they will match those dollars for us. That funding is ready to add some more hours to a contract employee. We have that person ready to go. We just need that money to come over so they can start working with those funds. That funding is also going to help with a grant that recently the Fayette County Soil and Water and Union County Soil and Water got that will start in 2024. We need some more assistance in getting that grant on the run. It's a $75,000 grant from the state. So that's what we're here for, is just, we asked for it at budget time. You guys said come back further, and that's what we're here for, is just to get the additional $7,700 to bring up to a $20,000 match from the state.
Any questions for Tara?
So you only need 7,000.
And on top of the 23 budget you guys have already passed. Yes, please.
Yeah, 77.
And I'm going to leave the door open for next year even too, for 2024. We're waiting to hear back from the State Soil Conservation Board to see how they're going to handle those matching funds again. So just keeping the door open for us to come in and say we need this for staffing as well.
So do you need 11,000 or 7,700?
7,700, please.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second to accept the 7,700. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Do you want to do your transfer while you're here, while you're there?
Yeah,
If you guys want to vote on that, it's the next to last one, the 480. It's just a
Okay.
transfer from one fund to another, but before they sat down in case if you had a question.
Okay.
did you have any questions on that, or do you have?
That's money already budgeted. You're just transferring it over?
Yeah, moving it around to take care of it.
Okay. Do I have a motion to let them transfer?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Additional appropriation request to Health Department Fund 1159, account 20160, nursing and vaccine supplies. We've not had a hearing on that, have we? Budget hearing on that?
Yeah, you can decide on this tonight. You can vote on that.
Okay.
This is basically to cover cost of vaccines. Our department, like all last year, all the vaccines for COVID vaccines were supplied to us. We now have to purchase those vaccines. So we have to go out and purchase them, but then we are billing for those. So we bill for these vaccines and then also charge an administration fee on top of it. So that it's not, I'm not sure where that goes back into, but so it's just not outright spending, it's us buying vaccines to administer.
How much do you add on?
Our fee schedule, we bill based on Medicare rates. And then there is an additional, I think it's like $30 for administration plus $18 administration fee. So plus we do charge a little bit more for the vaccine. We basically bill Medicare rates.
Yeah.
So each year we've had to do additional appropriations because that line item gets cut every year. But it is, like I said, we are doing new vaccines now too. We're also doing RSV. We pre-approved people to do it. So this, for example, RSV costs us $407 just for one shot to purchase it, and then we turn around and bill it to Medicaid or to the insurance company, so it's reimbursed plus the administration fee. So that's why that seems like a big number, but when each vaccine costs several $100s a piece, that's a cost quite a bit. That is also the reason why we're doing pre-approval on all that stuff, so we don't even get it in unless the insurance company pre-approves it.
Is that a budgeted item?
This would be adding to what they originally budgeted.
How much, did we not put in the budget, how much you thought you was gonna have to pay for this?
I think we originally asked for $75,000 last year, and I think we got $65,000, so we were cut $10,000 to start with, but then we did not anticipate. We did not know how long the state would supply those items to. And each year it's kind of just the same battle we've done. I think each year, the busier we are, the more money we need. So
They make us all back. We're not losing anything.
the more shots we give, the more we have to buy. So.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the additional appropriation of $50,000 for the vaccine supplies and then the additional appropriation for the 14, 11, 18, 97 medical services.
That was a sheriff. It's not the health
That's a
department.
sheriff's department.
Medical supplies?
The next one is medical
Misdemeanor
services.
fund.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, just the 50,000.
You don't want to do misdemeanor, you got enough problems as it is. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second to pay the 50,000. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay. All right.
Thank you much. And I did speak with everybody last week about salaries and raises, but I plan to hopefully meet with the salary committee sometime soon to go over those items. So I'll get with everybody on the salary committee again, and hopefully we can meet. I have more information, more numbers, further numbers. So I look forward to meeting with you on that. So,
Okay.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Sheriff.
You probably forgot you had the additional, that second additional fund.
Okay.
Um,
You want to tell us what it is, Jane?
Well, it's for medical services that is being paid on the misdemeanor funds. The misdemeanor fund is fees.
Okay.
So like
It's not coming out of county general?
No.
No. Okay. For medical services. We have a motion to accept that for the sheriff's department.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, please go and say aye. Opposed? Okay. Moving on down here to transfer the income cap from account 30502 remodeling cost to account 10192 part-time and account 10240 unemployment, $4,000. What's that for?
when we gave the pay raises, we didn't increase the line items, so he would have needed to cut his employees' hours to be able to fit within the budget. He did not do that. He continued to, Michael King is IT. He's got a part-time IT person that works 3 days a week. So
that's just transferring money within his budget?
well, within the cube cap budget, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, okay. Already talked to Kelly, old business. Okay, proposed calendar for meeting dates, claim deadlines, additional appropriation deadlines. Jane?
That was included in everybody's email
I'll make a
prior
motion
to the meeting. Basically, just is the same thing that we've had before, the first Tuesday of the month. Claims deadlines are always the Thursday, a week and a half before commissioner meetings.
And you put this out to everybody, they all get it, okay.
Yeah.
So Jane's got that
So
all
you guys
worked
just
out.
need, well, you guys need to approve it.
If you want to look at it, you will.
I've got one.
You got one, okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Okay. And motion second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, okay. Proposed stipend in lieu of health insurance ordinance.
Motion to disapprove.
What's that about?
Stipend, you get Medicaid, you get another $1,000. Basically, for just council purposes, we make like $5,300 a year. Those that are on it, stipend make $11,000 a year. So they get it in lieu of their health insurance for not taking, for being a part of the county's health insurance. That was kind of grandfather claused in back when the other was on council. It's kind of gone in a direction it wasn't really intended to be used as. Am I correct, Jane? Somewhat.
I know one thing that's been discussed with the stipend, but we've never done it before, is it's meant to reimburse people who get like a Medicare supplement thing, but we've never had any, we've never required proof that a policy was purchased. So we're reimbursing something that we don't know is actually being spent, if that makes sense.
That's kind of the
But
issue
that's the
there.
only negative that I've heard towards
Right.
it. And I believe Mr. Beckham's going to bring that up this evening if he had been here.
Sharon, this only affects people on council that's over age 65.
Right.
Here's spring chicken.
I mean, it's for all employees, not, I mean, it would affect any employees that are over 65.
Okay, so you're saying that you're okay with people being on the insurance, or you're not?
He's
Not
saying
without
no.
documenting it, without showing proof that they truly are open to getting it or should be getting it. So what Jane was saying is we're just giving, I'm just going, Jane said, yeah, I'm getting the stipend or whatever, and I should get that. And I don't prove it to her or nothing. I just get it, but just simply saying I want it. So I'd like some proof that the person's actually.
So you want proof, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it should. We ask for proof for everything else. Like Tim was just asking about prices on ECS. I mean, I know where he's going with that. I mean, but I see where he's going.
I can definitely show proof. I don't have a choice. It's a law.
No, it's
So,
No,
I mean,
this
if
is-
that's,
like Kay was saying, it doesn't affect you.
It doesn't
Okay.
affect you.
You're
I was
not-
gonna say, because, I mean,
This
we
is
can go
different.
around this road all over again if we need to.
This is just for people over 65.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
have someone who's currently on the insurance, once they turn 65, they can go off of the insurance and you qualify for the stipend. But the way it's worded, it says we give it in order to purchase a Medicare supplement policy, but we don't require proof that they actually used it to purchase a Medicare supplement
So
If
that's
the
policy.
wording
bring
was
that
changed,
in.
I would be for it. But the wording does not specify that they have to prove it. I'm not for it.
I think there should be proof if they take it.
Well, Dale says it makes my money because I went on the insurance. It costs a lot more than taking the stipend.
He's talking about two different things.
No, if a person's gonna take a stipend, they should prove that they're using the stipend for the insurance, or anything I'm saying, Bob.
Right.
You know, they've got it coming, but that's be like you go store and get me some groceries, and I'm gonna ask you for, what you spent for me before I pay you.
It's just proof where the money went.
Yeah.
That they're actually eligible for it. We're not just giving money to someone that really isn't eligible for it.
Just pocketing the money.
Right.
So we should have a different motion.
So you have to just change the ordinance?
Be using your stipend.
But you can motion with the changes to that ordinance.
Okay. So my motion would be to approve it upon the word changing that they have the employee has to show proof that they're entitled to that benefit, that stipend. If they do not have proof of it, then
Yeah.
if they do not have proof of it, then they do not get it.
Second, yeah.
Entitled or actually have it.
You just have to have the proof that you're receiving that benefit from Medicaid. I'm not a Medicaid.
Yeah.
From a supplement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All they have to do is bring in the receipt where they bought it.
Right.
That's all you need to do. You know, they got it coming, they just bring in the receipt.
That's all they need, right, Chuck?
And to state that
I
they're.
just want to make sure we're clear though. Are we saying that they get it if
No.
they can prove they have it? If they prove that we're not insuring them, but they're spending the insurance money some other place, right?
The stipend.
And they only get that stipend up to the amount they're spending?
Right now, the stipend has a dollar amount, like what
Okay,
reimbursed.
so that's what I'm saying. So
To this dollar amount that we currently have.
it's irrelevant how much they just have to show that they are spending it somewhere. I think that was, because Tim, I think, was kind of alluding toward more where I was
Well,
going with it.
let's put it like this, because then if they're paying less, then we're saying that they just have to have proof of what they're paying. They get reimbursed for what they're spending, not to exceed that dollar amount.
Have you bought any medicine lately, Mike? Because you might only have $300 you're paying for.
Yes, I have bought plenty of medicine, Bob.
But you turn around another $200 having to pay for your medicine you get.
Well,
To revise the ordinance, that an employee has to show.
nobody's taking anything away from anybody, Bob.
We're gonna reword it.
We're just saying you need to prove it like anybody else would have to do.
I understand that,
actually
but
spent, not
your
to-
secondary insurance will only run $300 a month, but when you go to the pharmacy to buy, you're paying out another $200 for your medicine,
I'm well aware of that.
over and above your secondary insurance.
But I don't understand what that has to do with this.
I don't either.
Because they're looking probably about $400 or $500 for the stipend. And they're wanting to cut it down to where your secondary insurance is, but you're paying more money up here for your own drugs.
What I understand is you get the money that you pay for your secondary insurance, but it has to be proven that you took that money and bought secondary insurance with it.
And did it all along.
That's all that's what I'm understanding.
You're right.
I think that is what's clear though, is that deviates from what we've been doing in the fact that somebody just says, I do this, and they get the entire stipend no matter how much their
And spend it on
insurance is
whatever.
for. Right.
Right. I'm 55 and I walk into Jane's office and say I'm 65 and I'm entitled to it. I'm entitled to it.
It doesn't matter what it costs you, it doesn't matter
Right.
anything. Are you wanting to, what I'm asking is, are you wanting to change that not only to say that you have to show proof, but also to show that the actual amount you're spending, that's what you're eligible for, but
Yes.
not to exceed a certain amount?
Yes.
Yes, not to exceed that amount.
Proof of what you spent.
You're spending more than that.
There's got to be a not to exceed, or otherwise that would be pretty.
Well, it's that way now.
I did, Jane.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
Sorry.
So how would that be worded?
We'll see how Jane has it in there right now.
Councilman Winton moved to revise the ordinance that an employee has to show proof that they have purchased a Medicare supplement policy up to and not to exceed amounts listed. To be reimbursed up to.
To be
and not to
reimbursed
exceed.
out to the actual cost.
So it's only $200 a month they're paying instead of like say it's $400 a month. They
It will
only get the
be
$200.
reimbursed up to
Which is
and not to exceed the
fair.
amounts listed.
That's fair, right?
But that will change every year.
If
It will change
Actual
every year because
cost.
it keeps going up every year.
Right, but like if right now we give $280 to a single person or $495 to a married person, as long as you're spending at least $495, you would continue to get that $495. But if you're only spending $300 a month, you're not going to get $495 a
Okay, but
month.
next year my insurance goes up to $350, so you're going to raise it another $50 next year.
No, we're only going to continue to pay up to this amount.
Forever.
Well,
Even
I
though,
mean, unless,
So it would be
even though my
unless
additional
council,
insurance is going to go
okay,
up.
council's not changed this the entire time I've been here. So yeah, they might not change it for another 7 years, or they might change it. But for right now, for our purposes in this motion, in this ordinance, it would only be up to,
Do you want to add in to
$495.
review every year?
well, the ordinance is
Well,
already in
it's-
place for
it's
1 year.
automatic, man. We get change it at our time.
So we read their language again. I don't
Because it
care what it
says
says. I just wanted to make
It
sure
says it will be
says what it
reevaluated
said.
annually. The ordinance
Okay.
already has that in there. So, okay. Councilman would have moved to revise the ordinance that an employee has to show proof that they have purchased a Medicare supplement policy and will be reimbursed up to and not to exceed the amounts listed, which would be $280 for an individual or $495 for an employee and spouse.
After showing of actual costs.
Reimbursed up to and not to exceed amounts listed, okay, after proving amounts.
Actual
costs.
amounts.
Okay.
We'll-
Actual cost, right?
She's just doing minutes right now. Her and I will make sure the ordinance
Okay.
reads as in your
Yeah, and
intention.
you guys can sign it at the next meeting because it
Okay.
doesn't go into effect till 2024 anyway.
Okay. Now we need a vote, Bob.
Okay. Motion made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Do I do a roll call or just want to?
Opposed?
We're all in favor.
It's unanimous, yes.
Yeah, that's fine, okay.
Proposed HSA ordinance.
There's the HSA one. It's for anybody who is on the HSA insurance policy. We give them $1,000 for an individual or $1,500 for a family toward their deductible.
We've been doing it for several years.
We're changing everything today.
No, this is not.
No, these have been in place for years.
Yeah, this is the same thing.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the proposed HSA ordinance as presented?
So,
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And proposed electronic meetings resolution.
so moved.
That was just your, if somebody's gone, they can do the Zoom meeting.
Okay.
I approve, motion to approve.
I would ask this question. Should we do the whole council that way and not even have a meeting? Huh?
Pardon me?
Are you looking for this for one or two people can't be here, which is fine, but I hate to see the whole council just go Zoom.
No, I think it needs to be within reason, obviously, and if
Like
somebody
when they're
like,
sick or something.
yeah, sick or
Out of
something,
town.
you can't be there, you're contagious, but you can still be part of the meeting.
Right.
It has limits, like more than 50% have to be physically present, and any one council member can only miss like, what's it, 2 meetings or something? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty restrictive. It's meant for the unusual situation where somebody's, you know,
Do we copy
yeah,
the
in the
cities?
hospital or at a conference or on vacation, but they still want to be part of a meeting.
Right.
Is this basically a copy of the cities?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Is that all the business to be discussed this evening then? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Wait, okay, and then Jim seconded.
Yeah.
He has,
Sorry.
We don't have time, that's fine.
We have, he has
Hang-
something.
hang on.
Pardon
Well,
me?
we've got.
I was
bring
telling
it-
Bob to hang on before.
Yeah, yeah, don't
Yeah, don't
gavel
hit it
yet.
Go to the-
Yeah.
We were over with Mr. Stevens.
Evening, everybody.
Evening.
Hey.
Ron Stevens, your Fayette County Veteran Service Officer. I don't need any money, thanks. You guys already did that for me, I appreciate it. And by doing that, by helping me with that piece of it, I'm able to have the Veteran Service Office open 4 days a week, not 3.
Good.
And by doing that also, with the PACT Act that the President signed last year, it came to a head this year for back pay, things like that. I submitted 32 claims for veterans that fell under the PACT Act for additional things that were put on the presumptive list for Vietnam veterans, Gulf War veterans, and got multiple people signed up for healthcare benefits that previously had never signed up. So by being able to do that and have extra time available to them and being able to get out into the community a little more, that's what that extra day does for us. So that's that piece of it. Also, we had 4 Fayette County residents that were World War II, Vietnam, or Korea war vets go on the Indy Honor Flight in October, end of October, to Washington, D.C., and got to see their monuments and then got a gigantic welcome home. Those people were Edward Herman, who was in the Army, Gerald Selm, who was an Air Force veteran, Hernan Delph, who was a Marine Corps veteran in Korea, and then also Paul Nobby, who was a Vietnam veteran. Mr. Nobby's story is a little different. He has a son that lives in Hawaii. His son flew to Washington, D.C. that day and met him at the Tomb of the Unknown when we got there. The gig was up when Mr. Nobby got to the top of the bus steps and looked down and was like, really? He had no idea his son was coming.
Wow.
And he traveled around from spot to spot with Mr. Nobby and his other brother. There will be a spot in the Connersville newspaper coming up soon about this. Also, just so you're not surprised, Connersville News Examiner also came over and did a spot on me and my service dog, because Smalls is about to become 6, and I have friends who will not let me not have a birthday party for him. So that'll be in the newspaper here soon as well. But I just wanted to thank you all for your help and assistance with my budget previously, and to be able to help the veterans of Fayette County. And it's not just Fayette County, it's Franklin County, Union County, Wayne County, Oklahoma, California, Washington State, and Puerto Rico now.
Well, thank you, Ron.
I don't know, somebody's putting the word out on me. I don't know why, but so I'm able to help quite a few. But thank you all for what you guys did to help me out and help out the office, and more so the veterans of this town.
Thank you for
Great
what
job.
you do. Yes,
You guys have any
absolutely.
questions or concerns or pictures of the family?
You're doing a great job.
So, all right, that's all I got. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, second for adjournment, so adjourn.